Today we're taking a look at replacing the screen on an MSI GS63VR Stealth Pro. The screen was cracked on the left hand side from the back, and I decided to do an upgrade screen from laptopscreens.com. To begin, you'll need a plastic tool, and you'll be prying off the centerpiece here right below the MSI logo. There's a bunch of plastic tabs in there. Be sure to be very careful not to break any of them, as they do break very easily. I used a plastic trim tool like this, very sturdy but yet narrow tip. Carefully prying on the right hand side here, I lifted up and worked my way down the center, loosening the tabs from the lower part of the keyboard. Just take your time, don't rush this step. It will come off loose. It helps if you lay your screen all the way flat. It allows more maneuverability of the plastic, and you'll be able to pull it up and out of there without damaging anything. Here you can see the plastic tabs. Once you pull this off, just set it off to the side. We'll be reinstalling it later. Now you'll have to take the bezel off of the laptop screen itself. You'll take the tool and work it around the outer side carefully by prying in between the back of the screen and the bezel. Be very careful on this, as they will snap and they will break. The best way to do this is by taking your time, working very slowly, going around it multiple times. What I did is I started at this lower piece here. It pried up very easily. Held the other side with my finger and then worked underneath of the screen. There's an adhesive strip, I believe it's 1/8 of an inch, all the way around the outside, and that's what holds the bezel on. What I found is insert the tool about 1/4 inch and just slowly work it up. I shut the screen off just in case any shorts of that sort. Gonna fast forward through this so you don't have to sit here and watch the slow, painful process of prying this up. Basically, I just took my time, and this is at 10 times speed. The slower you go, the better chance you'll have of not breaking anything. Why I stressed slow, slow, slow. Take your time around the camera up here, as there's wires underneath the bezel. You don't want to catch those. Again, it's just 1/8 inch tape, double-sided tape basically, holding this bezel on. So if you let go of it, it will stick back to itself. Here I just worked it around, and the bezel came off. Here's the back side of it, some serial numbers, and here you can see the tape. It did not break, thankfully, so I set this aside and move on to removing the screen itself. If I zoom in here, you can see there's micro screws. They are very small. Make sure you have an electronics repair kit or electronic screwdriver. Number 2 Phillips will not work. Number 1 didn't work for me, so I had to find my repair kit and take a screwdriver out of that. There's a screw on the right hand side, screw on the left hand side. There's also 2 on the top. Make sure you put enough pressure down that it doesn't strip the screw. Once the screws are out, lift the screen straight up like I did there. Kind of a rotate because the cable is connected in the bottom and you don't want to yank that out. Here I pulled the tape off. There's two pieces of tape. There's like a masking tape and then scotch tape underneath of it. All I did was take those off. The connector popped right off with no effort whatsoever. Screen comes right off. This is the 30-pin cable. You should verify this before you buy your new screen, because some of these MSIs have a 40-pin and it will not work if you get a 40-pin connector for your model. I got the screen from laptopscreen.com. This is the part number that I used. Came in a box, very well protected inside of 2 padded envelopes with more protection inside. Screen was unscathed, very nice, clean. All I did was lay the screen down, took the metal connector. I'm working with one hand here, so bear with me. Gently inserted the metal connector into the back of the screen. Again, you want to make sure it's straight on. You don't want to twist it. You don't want to nick these. You don't want to force it. It will slide on by itself very easily. Rotate the screen like I did before, exactly how you took it off. Set it back and align it so you can reinsert the 4 screws. But before I do any of that, I wanted to power the laptop on to make sure the screen was lit, no dead pixels, no cracked screen, and as you can see, there is none. It turned on, everything works good. So, flip the screen back over. I want to put a piece of tape on that screen connector so while moving and carrying the laptop it doesn't come undone, just like the factory had on there. I just put a piece of heavy duty plastic tape or packaging tape on there, push down to make sure it doesn't come off, and then I rotate the screen back and align the holes to insert the screws. Now I'm being careful not to push on the screen. Try to keep your fingers on the very edge of the screen. On this one it was shipped with a screen protector already installed, which is nice. It keeps your fingerprints and anything from touching it. And here I pick up the screws, the 4 screws for the top 2 and the bottom 2. Install them, make sure they're tight. Of course, don't over tighten and don't strip them. Now I'm removing the plastic cover before I put the bezel on, because it will not come off if you put the bezel on first. I thought it was a glossy screen until I removed the cover, and then I seen it was a matte screen. That's exactly what I ordered. Now I did spend a little bit of extra money and I got the 120 refresh rate for this screen. When I first started the computer up, it didn't register, so I had to restart the computer and then it detected the 120 Hertz. It did improve gaming, it did improve watching fast motion video editing. It made a little bit of a difference there. So for an extra, I think it was like $10 for the 120 Hertz, it was well worth it. All I did to install the bezel was work it around. I did not put any new tape on it, which I would advise to do so, but in my case I didn't have any problems. I made sure it stayed clean. I didn't touch it while it was off. All I did was work around the outside by applying firm pressure around the outside of the screen to make sure the tape sealed back to itself. Once your bezel's on, good to go, you'll take that strip of plastic that covers the electrical connectors and you'll push it back in there. Again, be mindful of the tabs. What I did was I inserted the tabs first and kind of rolled it back. You got to kind of tuck the back in behind the screen here. Simple. You'll hear it click. Push it down. Make sure you don't have any of them popped out. Easy. Pick the screen up to ensure it's inserted all the way firmly correctly. And then again, you want to test your screen in case your cable fell off when you were doing this. It shouldn't have with the plastic on there, but you never know. Here again, 2 minutes later, fired back up, worked great. Screen, I can see it from almost completely sideways. Very happy with this screen. I'll put a link in the description below. If you ever need a laptop screen, look at laptopscreens.com. Thank you for watching.